Thanks so much for inviting me to share this experience with you, share some secrets that I have that I want to tell you about. It sounds like you guys have started out with a bang here today, and sounds like you got a lot more in front of you. I hope I can contribute just a tiny bit to that experience. I was a publisher for 35 years in the B2B space, and for the last 5 years, once I sold that business, I started working with other publishers, including a Toronton, and also publishers in Germany as well as in the States. Speaking of the States, that's where I come from, and I hope you will forgive my funny accent. So we want to talk about the first 100 days, but when John explained to me that I would be covering the opening keynote responsibilities, I thought about how I could possibly broaden that concept and give it a little more depth. Because the first 100 days is, we will get to it, is pretty tactical, but I started thinking about what kinds of ideas I could share with you that might challenge you, might be a little bit different than what you've heard from others. When most clients come to me, they are generally seeking marketing help. And what I've found is once I start digging into their business, that the first help that they need is not so much with marketing, but with content that will support great marketing. And so I find that most of the publishing conferences that I've been to over the years and decades neglects this whole area of our business, which is the content and what we put out. So I want to talk to you, we will get to the 100 days, but I added the 10,000 days, which I did the math, 27.4 years, but that's a pretty good customer life cycle if we can do it. But even if we talk about 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, we should be so lucky to keep our customers, our subscribers that long. I think we want to have the long-term view, and that's what I would like to talk to you about initially, and then we'll get to the 100 days. So I want to talk about just some of the issues that my colleagues are facing. By the way, my publishing business and the specialized information publishing business is generally paid circulation. But in my business over the years and decades, I've had controlled circulation magazines that I published as well. So I'm familiar with a good deal of what the challenges that you face. Just to put some of this in context, business media publishers, I'm sure this is not true for anybody in this room, but in general, B2B publishers and magazine publishers in general are seeing slipping revenues. It's very, very competitive, plus, for other reasons here, and also audience development. It's hard to get new subscribers. It's hard to hold new subscribers. Competition is increasing from narrower niche publications. That is, the markets are getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and we are seeing competition not only from other magazines, but a wide range of other media, even podcasts and video casts. There's but all digital sources are competing with us, and again, many of them are small content vehicles, yet they steal away the attention of a fairly finite audience that we have. And then the commodification and devaluing of information, and we can thank Google for that and other sources of free information that really robs the attention span of the people that are so important to us. So our job really is and what I want to talk about is not advertising sales. I'm sure you'll talk a lot about that today, but I want to talk about audience development and attracting subscribers and keeping those subscribers, whether they be increased controlled circulation or increased paid circulation. And I split them out because I know that a lot of B2B magazine publishers are looking increasingly at paid circulation as a source of revenue, even spinning off new publications, have a flagship controlled circulation publication, but then split it off and have gotten into paid circulation. So I want to address that because they're extremely related. So what's the most powerful key to increasing business media circulation? Well, it's content. That's why people come to us, and that's why people stay with us. Now, that doesn't sound very profound, but I guess the rhetorical question I would ask you was, how much time have you spent in your strategic planning with an overhaul of your content? Probably not. That most of the energy is going to go into the business side, particularly the ad sales side, and the editorial group usually is pretty insulated. We let them do their thing. They know the subject matter. They know the industry, and we let them go, okay? I want to challenge that priority with you, and I want to give you some ideas as to how content can be transformed to create a more powerful attraction of subscribers to your publications, and initially, as well as to keep them for a longer period of time. So what kind of content do beleaguered business people crave? Now let's just think about this. This is not theory. This is your business subscriber is in a business that an industry that you cover. And this person subscribes to the publication, and they sit at a desk. They might have a desk by themselves, and they're very busy, okay? They're harried, okay? And we're sending them a magazine, or we're sending them emails, and we're trying to get them to come to a digital platform. They're extremely busy. What are they looking for? Imagine that person. What's going on in that person's day? Well, they have a packed day of meetings, troubling sales reports, personnel crises, impending lawsuits, and a line of employees outside her door. What will a busy business person most likely read next? And I know because I ran a business for 35 years, and that was me, right? I had these people lined up outside my door, every kind of crisis. What am I going to read? When do I have time to pick up a magazine, put my feet up on the desk, and open that magazine and read the magazine? Never. I mean, honestly, in 35 years, I can't remember ever having the leisure time, the relaxed time to do that. And I think most of so what would attract them? Entertainment? Features? I got a line of people out the door. I've got a lawsuit pending. I got a meeting with my attorney in a couple of hours. I've got deadlines. It's extremely tense. News reports, news. I'm going to sit down and read news, maybe, but not extremely likely. Deep analysis, big long article, a couple thousand words, 3,000 words. Or practical solutions to the problems that I'm grappling with right now. What's going to interest me of those things most of all? I want to represent to you that it's going to be practical solutions to the problems I'm facing right now. I'm much more likely to read that, something that promises me a solution to my lawsuit, than I'm going to read any news. Duh. So why do prospects buy and renew business publications? Let's just go through it. I know you know this, but let's just really think about it. Why would somebody subscribe to one of your publications? Well, one is it helps them do their jobs tangibly better. Secondly, it helps them beat or keep up with the competition. Does anybody disagree with either of these two? Does it make sense? It helps them earn more respect from their peers, their superiors, or even their family. It helps them qualify to perform certain jobs. It gives them skills, perhaps. Tells them how to do something a little smarter. Helps them avoid big problems like lawsuits, fines, or losing money. Selling more advertising. It helps them make more money, more profit, or greater returns. These are the primary motivators of a B2B subscriber on any topic. This is what they want. So I would ask you, so how many people here come from the business side of publishing? Just a show of hands. Okay, I'm seeing most people. And how many from the editorial side? A distinct minority, four people in this group, all right? So my question to all of you, to the editors in particular, is when your editors sit down to write an article, to create an issue, or to post something on your site, how many of your editors are thinking, our subscribers want these 6 things, and that's what I'm writing about? Or are they thinking, we have to write an article about this new merger? We have to interview so-and-so who just got a new position, right? Are they covering problems, or are they covering stuff? Are they covering topics? And I would put it to you that, at least in the publishing companies that I have visited, the editors are never thinking about these things as a primary goal of their editorial, right? If you're writing a news story for a B2B magazine, how does a news story do this? I suppose in some abstract, twisted way, you could say, oh, well, if they know about this news, it might help them do their job better. You would have to put 4 steps between that news item and doing your job better. You'd have to really think through how that helps you do your job better. Most editors and writers are not thinking about these things. They're thinking about the subject of the article. They're not thinking about these things because these things are all about the customer. They're not thinking about the customer in most cases. They're thinking about the subject matter. They're thinking about the news item. They're thinking about the merger or the acquisition. They're thinking about a legal challenge to the industry, whatever it might be. They're thinking about events. They're thinking about news, and they're thinking about topics, and they're thinking about analysis of the thing, as opposed to helping people solve problems. So what difference does content make in the success of our business? Again, I know you know this, but let's just review it. Content, the editorial premise, is why people purchase or subscribe our products. Content is why customers read, attend events, and use our services regularly. You with me so far? Content is why customers renew, and we are a renewal and a repeat purchase business, fundamentally. Nobody's making money in this room by getting a subscriber for 1 year and they go away. The only way we can make money is to get new subscribers and keep them. Okay, agreed? Are you with me? So, content is it. Be paranoid. Assume they will not read it. And I can tell you something else. Most editors, this concept is completely foreign to them because they think when they write the news story or write the analysis that everybody will read it. And we know, if you guys track your readership online, you know that most of your subscribers don't read most of your articles. You may get a lot of people who read one article, but most articles go unread by the majority of your subscribers. They're unread. That's not the way a writer or an editor, your journalists are thinking. They're not thinking, my God, how can I get them to read this? No, they're into the topic. The topic is so important to them, right? And so that's what they want to write about, and that's what's important to them, and that's what they think about. And they assume, not this, they assume people will read it, which is wrong. Most people will not read any given article. In fact, in most cases, it's a small minority. If you get 10% of your readership to read one article, any given article, you're doing pretty well. Our mission as editors and content developers and publishers is to create content that provokes the highest renewal rate, creates the highest pay-up rate on trial subscriptions. Okay, those are the first two things that our content should do. It's easy to teach to new writers, and it's difficult for competitors to imitate. If I ask you how special is your editorial, how unique in its creation and in its concept is your editorial? Is it editorial that only this group of people, this highly trained group of people in your particular vision can create? Or is it the kind of editorial, where if the senior editor leaves you and goes to work for another magazine, you hire another senior editor to come in? In most cases, the editorial parts are interchangeable because everybody's doing the same thing. We all do the same kind of editorial. Therefore, pretty much any editor can do it, which takes away our competitive advantage. Okay, so I want to give you a difference between the kind of journalism that I'm advocating and that I think will serve you and help you make more money, and the kind of journalism that is commonly practiced in most magazines. So traditional journalism, it's ad sales driven. The business publisher, the business people are in charge of the publication. That's the way they think. They're thinking about ad sales, and that's what the business is about. Okay? I'm here to tell you, you'll sell more ads if you have better content, because you'll have a higher circulation and they'll stay longer. So business journalism is, or should be, reader need driven, not ad sales driven. It's not the product itself that we are supporting, it's the customer that we are supporting. We exist for the customer, not for the ad. There's nothing wrong with ads. Let's sell them, sell as many as possible. But let's get the editorial, the content oriented so that it supports a large circulation for a long time. Instead of an information focus, there is a solution focus. So we're not covering stuff, we're not covering topics, we're covering solutions. We aren't covering what happened, we're covering what it means, how it will affect the reader. We're not covering stuff that's interesting, and I think this is what many editors think. You ask, why did you write an article about that subject? It's so interesting. I'm too busy for interesting. Most business people, particularly in the higher reaches of an organization, are too busy for interesting. Business journalism, in my opinion, should be actionable. We should be telling people how to get the job done. Okay? There is a profound difference between these two columns in terms of sensibility, in terms of motivation and orientation of your editorial team. Most editors who come out of journalism schools are thinking this way. This is a cultural sensibility. This is a cultural mindset. This is the way they think. I can explain this to them, you can explain this to them, they won't change simply by looking at a chart and saying, oh, I get the difference. Everybody can understand the difference here. This is not profound journalism with a capital J. Ooh, right? But what we're talking about is service with a capital S. Okay, service journalism equals solutions writing. Readers and attendees for events, subscribers ask themselves, when they get the magazine, they get the email that the content is posted on the website, what are they thinking about? Well, they're thinking about the line of people out the door, they're thinking about the lawsuit, they're thinking about they have to stop at the grocery store on the way home and pick up milk. They have a dozen different pressures on them when your material comes in. They probably have 2 or 3 magazines that are coming at them. Okay? There's a lot of distractions. First thing they think about is what's in it for me? News item, what's in it for me? You know, it's raining tomorrow, bring umbrella. It has meaning to me, right? But if it's an acquisition out in the corner of my industry, why am I going to pay attention to that? What does it mean to me? Answer the question, what's in it for the reader? How does it apply to me? What valuable lessons can I learn here? How can I turn this into an opportunity? This is what business people are thinking about, right? That's what they think about all day long. And in fact, that's what you think about all day long. What's in it for you? Which of my problems does this solve? I've got all these problems. I've got all these issues that I'm dealing with as a business executive. How are you going to help me solve the problems? How does this create an advantage for me? These are all the kinds of questions, the first questions that a business person asks when your material crosses the threshold, gets into their office, onto their screen. These are the issues that they're asking, not what's new. That's not the first question. These are the first questions, okay? Not what's new. And it's probably not, could somebody explain this to me? This thing that's going on out there. No. How do I solve my problems? Help me do my job better now, or don't waste my time. So what are the greatest mistakes business media editors make? They believe they are primarily writing about industry news, facts, and analysis. They believe this is their job. You understand what I'm saying is that this is the opposite of what the subscriber, your subscriber, is the opposite of what your subscriber wants most deeply. Now, you've been reasonably successful over the years and decades putting out news, facts, and analysis. But what I want to represent to you is that that time is ending, that this kind of information is becoming commoditized, and that the way that you can distinguish your content is by answering some of those other questions and demands of your audience. They believe their readers have a high interest in industry details and people. They may have an interest, but it's not a high interest, okay? And they have an interest if there's time for it. I subscribe to the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, both of them, now digitally. I have a habit of sitting down when I have lunch with my tablet and I read one or the other, because I can't cover those two publications in a 40-minute lunch, period. And I can tell you this, no matter which one I choose, which day I'm on, I read 2 or 3 articles. That's it. I spend a lot of money on those publications, probably, I don't know, $400 a year for the 2 of them, right? And I'm in the media business, and I only have time to read a couple of articles from one of the 2 publications per day, okay? I'm not unlike you, and I'm not unlike your customers, right? We're just very busy. There are a lot of demands on us. We're working hard. We're trying to get our work done. Most writers fail to address their readers' real needs, which are material: improve their sales, improve their profit, get a raise, get a new position, whatever success means materially to them, and emotionally. We are all emotional beings at heart, right? We're all a quivering mass of emotional needs. We try not to show it too much. We try to act really rational, but most of the decisions we make about everything, buy a car, buy a can of soup at the grocery store, it's an emotional decision because we have an affinity to a brand, right? And we want the easy solution. We just choose the brand that we can trust. Trust is an emotion. So we're trying to satisfy our material needs and our emotional needs, and on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, news is not one of them, okay? Yet editors believe that it is. When creating editorial content, we want to ask ourselves 4 questions. Why do our subscribers need to do this? Why do they need to read it? Why do they need to do it? That's a tough question. Assume they will not read it. Now, what are we going to do to make sure they do read it? Be interesting to put that question to your editorial team. I can pretty much guarantee you would not be delighted with the answer that you're going to get, because they don't really know why somebody should or must read it. All they know is it's the news. Why did you write about that? Because it happened. I wrote about it because it happened. And because it's in this industry. And because everybody wants to read it. Except that's not true. How can they apply this information to their daily business lives? What lessons can our customers learn from this analysis or advice? How does it help them? And what is the journey our subscribers are taking, and how can we get them there faster? And this is really the idea I want to leave you with today. We're going to talk about the 100 days. Content is not an event. It's a journey. Content is a journey. I'd like you to think with me for a few minutes here about the content journey. And the content journey corresponds with the customer's journey. Okay? What journey is your customer on? If you send them news every day, that's kind of an event. Those are a series of events. It has no context for them. They don't know how it helps them solve a problem today, let alone their business journey, the journey they're on as business people. And we all have one. We have careers. We have trajectories in our lives, in our personal lives and in our business lives. We're all on a journey. And the idea that I want to share with you is that you will be more successful in producing content that is compelling and that attracts new subscribers and keeps subscribers for a long period of time to the degree that your editorial is keyed in to and supports the customer's journey. In other words, your editorial should be about the customer. Your editorial should not be about things, stuff, events, issues. It can cover those things. That's not what it's about. It's about your customers. And it's about the journey that they're taking, the journey that they're on. Think about that. So, we're not selling information. We're selling success. If you think we're selling information, you should go work for Google, because that's what they've got, and it's free. It's amazing what Google offers for free. That's not the business that we can compete in. We have to compete in the business of helping people be successful. We have to compete on the level of helping people take a journey, help them on their journey. How does this news story help somebody on their journey? I don't know. Maybe it does. But we need to know that, and your editors need to know that. Make stories, events, training not about things or occurrences, but about the reader. Your editorial should be fundamentally about the reader. Yes, we can cover news items as long as it pertains to the reader, and we tell the reader how it pertains. We make the connection, because people are not going to take the time. Google does not flood us with information and force us to sort it out. Here it is, you figure out how it's going to help you. No, we go to the information that we want, and we don't have to bother with anything else. Most magazines and lots of other content providers are flooding the reader, the subscriber, with information that the editors think will be read. Not that will help them. They just think if we write it, they will read it, right? I'm representing to you that that is not happening. That's not the phenomenon that we are seeing in our marketplaces. If they don't read it or use it, they won't subscribe, trial subscription, and they won't renew. The single biggest reason that people do not renew subscriptions, and I've had subscription publications for a long time, and I'm talking about controlled circulation or paid circulation, doesn't matter. The reason that they will stop subscribing, they will give you any number of reasons for it. They'll say, I can get this somewhere else. I don't have time to read it. But the real reason that they don't tell you is, I never read it. Single biggest reason, no matter what they say, some people will say it, but most people will give you some other excuse for why they don't read it. You send it to them, they don't read it. And the reason they don't read it is because it's not answering those questions that we talked about earlier. If it were vital to help them get through their day, they would read it. Do you agree? If it were vital to help them get through their day, they would have to read it by definition, right? They would have to read it. But if it doesn't do that, they don't have to read it. And if they're busy, the way I am, the way you are, they're not going to read it unless they have to read it. Assume they will not read it. So what's the mission statement for your publication? Whom are you serving? What are you promising? What benefit are you delivering that no one else delivers? When you ask most editors and many publishers, what is the biggest benefit you deliver, your publication delivers, they will tell you, we cover this topic. What do you cover? Oh, we cover news, we cover issues, we cover analysis, we do interviews. Well, that's not a benefit. Those are not benefits. News is not a benefit. Okay? I'll show you what a benefit is. News is not a benefit. Analysis is not a benefit. Okay? What benefit are you delivering that no one else delivers? And how do you deliver on that promise? How uniquely do you make it happen? So we're going to talk about those two things. One is what is a benefit, and then how do you do it that nobody else can do? So the greatest commandment of all for creating compelling editorial is, thou shalt always deliver a large benefit. Okay? So I just told you what's not a benefit. News is not a benefit. A benefit is a subjective idea. I'm going to give you a definition for it, but just remember, a feature is objective. It's undeniable. News is a thing. Okay? It has no value. It could be good news, it could be bad news, it could be helpful news, it could be not helpful news. News is news. Analysis is analysis. Analysis could be helpful, news could be helpful if you need to know about the rain tomorrow, but not necessarily. So what is a benefit? A benefit is the promise of transformation, either material or emotional. So what do we mean by transformation? Number one, let me just say that that is a very high bar for a benefit. It's something, a benefit is something that changes your life. So what is a benefit? I told you some things that are not benefits. News is not a benefit. Information isn't a benefit. Analysis is not a benefit. What is a benefit? A benefit is I lost 15 pounds. Helps you lose weight. That's a benefit. Something happened. Okay? I got a raise. Something happened. I can measure it. It made me so happy. I was delighted. That's an emotional benefit, right? So what we want to ask is, what is the benefit that your publication provides? Okay? What is the benefit your publication provides? Have you got that in your mind? Like what your, we don't have time to go through the room and have people tell us what their benefit is, but just think about it. What is the benefit that your publication provides? Choose a magazine and choose, how do you change someone's life? What benefit, what transformation do you create in the mind of your subscribers? So I have a client called Beverage Digest, B2B publication. The mission of that publication is to help beverage industry executives be more successful, create more successful initiatives in the beverage market. By the way, beverages, we're talking about non-alcoholic beverages. It just happens to be, that's what the niche is, the beverage industry, not the alcohol industry. So help beverage industry executives be more successful. That could be a new product introduction, that can be gaining shelf space in a grocery store, can be any number of things. Help them be more successful. Every word of that publication is dedicated to that proposition. If it doesn't help the reader do that, it doesn't go in the publication. I have another colleague called the Tax Reduction Letter. And the goal is the mission of that publication is to help entrepreneurs, solo business operators, reduce their taxes. Okay, I paid $10,000 last year. I'm only going to pay $9,000 this year. It's a transformation. Something changed materially. Okay? And then Scholastic Books, maybe you know Scholastic Books. What is the mission of Scholastic Books? Help teachers be more, this is the educational division, help teachers be more effective in teaching and inspire students and teachers with learning. So we have the material, teach more effectively, and inspiration, make them feel great about it. Here's the next point I want to make is renewals are the single most, and we're going to get to the 100 days now. Renewals are the single most important job that we have from an audience development standpoint. Once we have made the investment to attract a new subscriber, it's our duty to keep that subscriber for 10,000 days. Or 700 days, or 1,000 days. We want to keep them as long as possible, okay? I don't know what your costs are. When I was in the subscription business, we would spend $1 to get $1 on a new subscriber. So I would spend $20,000, I would get $20,000 in subscription money back, okay? Spend $40,000, I bring $40,000 back. How do you make money if you're trading dollars to get a new subscriber? Well, you can't unless you get a renewal, all right? You may have different economics, but it's always expensive, no matter what business you're in, to get a new customer. The beauty of our business is that it is a renewal business, right? There's impetus for people to stay with us and keep spending money with us and supporting our ad base. Assume you have a magazine that has 10,000 customers who pay $40 a year. What happens if you increase your renewal rate from 70% to 85%? Just hypothetical. So you start out, you got 40 people, you got 10,000 subscribers, you got $400,000 in revenue. In year 2, you have 7,000, because you got a 70% renewal rate, you got 7,000 people, 280. Year 3, 70% of that, 196. Year 3, renewal 3, 137. Renewal year 4, renewal year 5, you end up with $1,176,000 in renewal revenue from that starting 1,000 people. Okay? If you have an 85% renewal rate, you have the same starting, they both paid revenued. I never noticed that. Did anybody else see that?
Oh, it's a magazine room, we all saw it.
With an 85% renewal rate, you got 340, 289, 240, $1,660,000. The difference over a 5-year renewal period is almost $500,000. So we're talking about serious money here. And if you have a larger circulation or multiple publications and you can effect this kind of change, very serious money. How do you do that? How do you bump your renewal rate from 70% to 85%? At the end of 5 years, you have 2.6 times as many subscribers and 41%. So not only do you have more revenue, but your ad base is substantially higher as well. Even if your results are only 50% of this, renewals are gold. If you're also selling advertising, it affects your rate base. So added renewal revenue is virtually pure profit. Your costs to obtain a subscriber are extremely high. Your best customer is always your existing customer, always your existing customer. You always want to put energy into your existing customers before you go to try to bring somebody new in there. It's so much easier to renew someone than to bring somebody in for the first time. Your cost to fulfill additional subscriptions are de minimis, and in some cases, if it's a digital publication, it's zero, costs you nothing to serve one more subscriber, right? The cost to create and implement renewal marketing are extremely low, although most publishers give very short shrift to their renewal efforts, right? There's so much more you can do if you have a big promise. If you have a big promise. If you can promise a big benefit. If all your benefit is we give you the news or we cover the issues, that's not a benefit. It's not a benefit at all. It's not a small benefit, it is not a benefit, okay? So what is the benefit that we're promising people or reminding people of in our renewal series? Oh, it comes out 12 times a year. It's a feature, it's not a benefit. Nobody subscribes to your publication because, I was subscribing to this one publication that came out 12 times a year, but this one comes out 18 times a year. I should subscribe to that. More junk in my mailbox, right? No, nobody wants more information. Nobody wants more information. Nobody wants more information. Everybody wants more help. Would you agree? Why are renewals and retention not your highest priority? All right, your first 100 days with a new subscriber are a very big deal for just the reasons that we've been talking about. To get them started and to keep them for 10,000 days. So what are new customers thinking when they first receive your service? It could be a magazine, could be a newsletter, could be a data service, doesn't matter. What are they thinking? Well, most customers are thinking nothing. They're not thinking about that they subscribed. Nobody's waiting for your publication, even if they subscribe to it. If it's a week or 2 weeks since they heard from you, since they signed on, they have completely forgotten about you. Even if it's the next day, they may well have forgotten. And they probably will say, I didn't subscribe to this. You've run into this before. People call you and they say, I didn't subscribe to it. And you say, sir, I have your signature on a piece of paper. I have your signature. No, I didn't subscribe. Assume they know nothing about you. They subscribed. Assume they know nothing about you. When a customer receives your first materials, assume she's thinking, this must be a mistake. What is this all about? How much did this cost? Did I really commit to this? Can I get out of this? But it's true, guys, and you may have experienced it yourself. You get something from Apple and it says, I got my wife signed up for something, and it was like, you know, we had just spent $75 a year, and the only way I could get out of it was to call American Express and cancel it, because Apple would not let me out of it. How can I stop this service now? Okay, that's what they want to know. How can they stop subscribing? So most publishers neglect onboarding. That's what the first 100 days is, in favor of housekeeping. Here is establish your password. You know, put your credentials in, or here are your credentials, okay? And they're going, I don't want to do it. Don't give me credentials. Don't make me go to the website. I don't want to do this. I'm too busy, right? And they are too busy. They're too busy for you. And you know they're too busy, and they know they're too busy. So what are we going to do to make sure that they subscribe? Onboarding begins immediately, and it continues until the indoctrination process is complete. Do they believe in you? Do they believe in you? And have they acted? If we're gonna change something in their lives, they have to do something. There's nothing you can send anybody that will change their lives without them doing something, right? I can help you lose 15 pounds. But you have to exercise, and you have to eat properly. You have to do some stuff. And it doesn't matter what it is, what the promise is, they have to do something. So what will your customers do? What do you want your customers to do when they get your magazine? What do you want them to do? Besides read it. They read it, and what should they do? Have your editors ever talked about that? I'm going to get them to go to this website. I'm going to get them to implement a new training program. How often does that happen? How often do you try to make it happen? In most cases, never, because editors don't think that way. They don't think about, I'm going to get our readers to do something. I'm going to get our readers, our subscribers, to transform themselves. So indoctrination begins by reminding them of our big promise, our benefit. That's the first thing you tell somebody when they become a new subscriber is, remember, we're going to make you a hero. Remember, we're going to get you a raise. Remember, we're going to help you lose 10 pounds. Remember, we're going to help you increase your profit this year. We're going to help you sell more stuff. Whatever it is, that's why they subscribed in the first place. Remind them of that. That's the first thing you do. Forget the credentials, forget the access to the website. Help them remember. So you want to make it super easy for them to get started on the path to triumph. Remember, I talked about the journey, the customer journey. Where is the customer going? Okay? Let me just use the weight loss thing for a minute because it's easy to explain. And you know, I exercise pretty much every day, but I get on a scale every day, right? And sometimes I end up being 4 or 5 pounds overweight. And I want to get it down. So I'm on a journey of getting my weight down. That's going to involve exercising more rigorously and eating less, right? So I'm on a journey. If somebody can help me with that, speed that along, give me more support, I'm into it, okay? Help me on the path to triumph. What is the path? What is the journey that your subscriber is on? Think about one subscriber. You may have 10,000 subscribers, but think about one. What journey are they on? Where do they want to go? It's a fair question, I think, right? We're selling them information. How are we going to help them on their journey? What is their journey? What is the journey? Do you know what the journey is? Probably, if you think about it. Do your editors know what the journey is? Probably not, because nobody's ever talked to them about the customer journey. It's never been a priority in your organization, I'm guessing. We want to remove friction on the path to success. We want to make it easy, personal. We want to get them involved. We want to deliver immediate value to them. Every issue is somebody's first issue. Am I right? Yeah, every issue is somebody's first issue. They're going to make a decision on a trial subscription to continue or not continue. They're going to make a decision to read or not to read with the first issue. So if you're helping them on their journey and they're going, oh my God, this is fantastic. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I read that article. I'm going to do that. Well, if you can perform that magic, they will keep reading it. Believe me, they will keep reading it. If you can't do that and you don't try to do that, chances are they're not going to keep reading it. The stakes are very high. The job is difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying we want to deliver immediate value and we want to reward desired behaviors. And Weight Watchers gives points to people. If you lose weight, you get points. It's a reinforcement. There are lots of different ways to do this. If your members or your subscribers don't participate, they don't go on the journey with you, they're not going to stick around. Okay, best practices for onboarding new customers. We want to boost engagement, usage, conversion to pay, and renewals. That's what we're doing here. In order to get them to convert and to renew, they need to engage. How do they engage? They use it. If they don't use it, they're not really engaged, are they? Reading would not qualify as engagement, and we know most people don't read most articles. So the first thing we want to do in the first 100 days is remind them why they signed on. We want to reinforce the decision. Then we want to teach subscribers how to use and profit from it. Now, here's why you did it, and here's how you use it. We want to sell them on reading and using the service. So first explain how it works, and then secondly, get them to do it. Sell them. It's really going to be helpful. All right. So we're not going to take time to do this, but I asked you earlier, what is the single greatest benefit that you can offer your subscribers? If you go home with nothing else, and I know you're going to go home with lots of profound strategies and tactics from this meeting, but if you go home with nothing else, what is the biggest benefit your magazine or your magazine group, what is the biggest benefit you provide to your marketplace? Benefit, transformation, change, make a difference. What's the single thing that you do? And how do you want people to use your service? When they get the magazine, what do you want them to do? Your editors are not thinking about this, but they could and they should, I think. What can we get our readers to do? You want to talk about engagement? I read about this new training technique and I used it the next day. That's using the publication. Give them something they can use. Give them something they can do and convince them to do it. Convince them to do it. It's not easy. But if you have good stuff, they will use it. But you have to know you want to do it, and your editors have to know you want to do it. And if they don't know you want to do it, believe me, they're going to do the same thing that they've been doing for the last 15, 20, and generations of journalists. So new customers forget that they subscribe. Don't do this. This is so direct marketing advisory. Welcome to direct marketing advisory. Our editor and our team, we've been providing marketing professionals with the latest news. We have hopes, ladies and gentlemen, we have hopes. If you're not familiar with it, please take a moment to review the enclosed file. For other services that we offer that you can buy, we have exciting news. We're online. Aren't you excited about our news? Okay, this is what you see, 24/7 online access to current issues. This is what most welcome letters contain, right? Bad. Okay. Let's look at this. This is General Contractor's Digest. The tagline is manage jobs more smoothly and profitably. That's the benefit. That's the mission statement. Manage jobs more smoothly and more profitably. Welcome to a new way of managing your contracting business. I know you didn't subscribe to General Contractors because you want the same old, and I guarantee you won't get that here. I appreciate your letting me share with you what I've learned about managing a contracting business smarter so you love your work more. Love your work. An emotional benefit. You will love your work. You'll love your job. You'll love your industry. So let me tell you are you going to get paid better? Much better for it. Let me tell you how we're going to achieve the goal, how to make sure your customers pay your invoices on time, how to increase your referral business, how to add 15% more in charges, a foolproof system for keeping jobs on schedule. This is what, and they booked me actually as a comedian. And I'm glad you're in the front row. Thank you so much. I'm going to tell my wife, I killed. You also learn firsthand how other contractors are solving their toughest problems. Your onboarding material should address three things. Motivation, what do they want to do? What is their journey? What is the journey they're on? That motivates them. News doesn't motivate them, right? The journey motivates them, their journey. And you're going to take them on your journey. The method, how do you do it? And make them heroes. Tell them exactly how to do it and give them quick wins. Give them something they can do that will make them more successful. Every issue, every article, it wouldn't hurt. Okay, so customer journey. This is a colleague of mine, friend. 4 pillars of a media relations master. This is the public relations business. The 4-part strategic blueprint for superior results as a PR professional. He's got a blueprint. That's what he offers people. He offers them a path to success. The 4 pillars. Here's Beverage Digest. 5 things. This is what this publication is about. Right? I shared with you the mission statement, make beverage executives more successful, help them sell more beverages. How do we do this? We help you stay ahead of the competition. We help you be a smart, tough street fighter. We help you innovate constantly based on marketing research that we provide you. It's data, but it's to help you perform better. Do what the numbers tell you. Up-to-the-minute data will make you a winner. Emulate the industry's movers and shakers. We interview the industry's movers and shakers. We do interviews. It's not about the interviewee. It's about the reader. How can the president of Pepsi-Cola help the startup of kombucha? What is it called? What is it? Kombucha. So the interview helps them do their job better. This is a newsletter helps for financial advisory for dentists. 5 steps to financial freedom in your dream retirement. Help you join the rare 5% of doctors who retire with a $4 million nest egg. This publication's been around for 15 years. This is what they do every single issue. Helps dentists become financially independent and put $4 million away. That's the mission. How useful does that sound if you're a dentist, right? How does that compare with your mission? So, where are you taking your subscribers? What is the path? What is the path they're on? What is the path you're taking them on? If they don't use your content, they won't renew it. I'm going to jump forward here. We want to give them early wins. This is for a first-class flyer. We give them a sample of how to book a flight at a discount. Let's say you want to go to Oktoberfest. Here's how you do it, because it's not that simple, right? Help them do it. Show them how to use your publication. For this publication, we put out an email for every single article, every single major article. They get it online. Oh, your new issue is up online. Are they going to read it? No. We do a copywriter-written email that sells every article twice a week. Twice a week, selling the content they already bought. Why do we do that? Because we assume they will not read it. And I'll tell you what, we started this program, increased readership, online readership by 77%. Increased readership by 77% by sending them, by selling every article. You can't sell a news story, okay? Because the news is the news. There's nothing exciting about it. It doesn't help you do anything. But this does, keeps you from getting embezzled. When should your onboarding process stop? After 10,000 days. Never stop onboarding them. You should be selling to their motivation, your method, and making them heroes every day. If you want to keep your customers, your content has to make a difference in their lives, and it's got to be the long view, not just today, but you got to make a difference in their journey. We made it. We made it. Well, thank you so much. You guys were so quiet. I didn't know if I was dying, except for Elizabeth. Except for Elizabeth, thank you. That was very generous of you. If you would like a copy of this, I'd be happy to send it. You can see some of the things we didn't have time to look at, but I think you got the idea. So, good luck with your journey. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks.